Hi guys, so there's news coming out that Boris Johnson had a birthday party in number 10 on his birthday during the lockdown. Now, first, before we get to Peter Bonehead, who's going to make excuses for Boris Johnson, I want to show you this letter and this tweet. Boris Johnson tweeted this on the 21st of March, in 2020. This is a letter he received from a girl called Josephine. I'm just going to read out the letter. It says, "Dear Prime Minister, I want to let you know it was my birthday today, but I'm staying at home because you asked us to." Okay. "I think Mommy and Daddy might have to cancel my party, but I don't mind, because I want everybody to be okay. Please keep working hard to keep us all well. Are you remembering to wash your hands? Lots of love, Josephine, age 7, today." And she puts a little heart and wash hands. A sweet letter. And Boris Johnson replied to it. I'll leave a link in the description so you can check it out yourself. But Boris Johnson replied to this letter saying, "Well done, Josephine, you've done a great job sacrificing your birthday." Well, Boris Johnson doesn't seem to be willing to sacrifice his birthday. And here we have Peter Bone responding to allegations that Boris Johnson had a birthday party.
It's a very funny party that is less than 10 minutes with colleagues you work with all the time. People broke off, I understand, from work, went to see the Prime Minister, gave him a cake, and then went back to work. And I bet, you know what political people are like, they probably talked about work when they were eating their bit of cake.
Hang on.
Okay. The ability of Peter Bone to separate reality from fantasy is amazing. Now, was Peter Bone at that party? If Peter Bone was at the party, he could say, look, this is what happened. Some people had a bit of cake and then they went back to work or whatever. That's not an excuse. You were not actually allowed to do that. That's breaking the rules. But he wasn't there. So how can he make statements about what happened or what people talked about if he was not there?
There was a celebration, whatever, there was a celebration in Downing Street, which Downing Street doesn't deny, for the Prime Minister's birthday. That was on the 19th of June. On June the 13th, the Queen celebrated her birthday without any family members present. Shouldn't he apologise to Her Majesty again?
I don't think so, because I don't recognise this as a party. Well,
so there was cake, there were candles, but that's not a party. In the same way as there was wine and there was cheese, and that's a business meeting.
Look, maybe it's not what I think, it's what my constituents think. So we had a team of 8 people out knocking on doors.
Now, what Peter Bonehead continues to say in almost every interview is that he went out and he met his constituents, and his constituents were not interested in this. They didn't care about this. They met maybe one person who said, yeah, I'm upset with the Prime Minister. Everyone else was, Boris is doing a wonderful job, get on with it, get Brexit done or whatever.
Tonight in Wellingborough and Northamptonshire, and I asked Councillor Helen Harrison what the response was, and like it was on Saturday when I did 4 hours canvassing, and like it was on Friday when I did 2 hours, this is not an issue on the doorstep.
Well, not on your doorstep, but you would admit that many Tory MPs say that they've got a deluge of complaints about it. You maybe got a constituency that's different.
No. There's a difference between getting a deluge of emails from people who never supported Boris. The only person, when I...
So the only people who are angry are people who didn't like Boris Johnson in the first place. So anyone who voted for Boris Johnson in 2019 is perfectly happy with Boris Johnson having a party while they had to self-isolate or they had to stay at home and not meet with friends or family. So really, on what planet is he living on? Where, look, let's park politics for a moment. People are obviously upset. People who voted for Boris Johnson or didn't vote for Boris Johnson. This is beyond politics. This is somebody telling you to follow a rule and them not following it themselves. Them telling you to follow very, very strict rules and them having a party at the same time.
When I was out on Saturday, who took offence about the Prime Minister, he was swearing words we couldn't use. And because I looked at McCammon, he'd always voted Labour all his life.
We were in a national emergency.
I'm sorry.
Peter Kyle couldn't see his grandfather for his birthday. Lots of people couldn't do the things they wanted. Do they not matter? Because the point is, you seem to be suggesting that it's okay for Boris to sort of duck and dive a little bit and have a party. But it's not okay for other people to do it.
Well, I just don't recognise that as a party.
I would love for somebody to ask him, then what is a party, Peter Bone? Describe a party to us. Does a party involve a cake? What? Does it require... What is Peter Bone's definition of a party?
And if that's the sort of parties you go to, they're not much fun, are they? That less than 10 minutes and from work colleagues, when you're talking about working, disappear again. It seems to me that the people on the door...
This is hearsay. He was not there. He can't say, yes, people popped in for 10 minutes and then left. Who said that? Do we have evidence to back up that claim? Or we just have to go on Peter Bone's word?
Dorset want to talk about Ukraine and want to talk about the cost of living.
I highly doubt the people who vote for Peter Bone care about Ukraine. I really very much doubt that.
They want to talk about getting rid of
but they also perhaps want to talk about the fines that they had when they did something like go to their allotment.
You may wish that's what people on the doorstep, but they don't. Well, I mean, they're much more likely to talk to me about the abolition of the BBC licence fee than Boris. And when it...
Now, that's... I really struggle to believe that his constituents are like... Never mind what Boris Johnson was doing, never mind that he was breaking the rules, we're more concerned about the BBC licence fee freeze.
It was brought up. People rolled their eyes and said, oh, why doesn't let the media Boris get on with doing the job? They like Boris. They realise they got him through the pandemic.
The party...
I think there's a massive amount of projection here. Peter Bone likes Boris Johnson, and he imagines everyone in his constituency likes Boris Johnson. Now, are there people in his constituency who probably like Boris Johnson? Yes, I'm pretty sure there are. But I have a feeling that Peter Bone is selective. He's meeting with people, maybe friends of his within his constituency. Sycophants for Boris Johnson or sycophants for Peter Bone here, who will say, yes, continue with getting Brexit done and stuff like that.
Actually, it's a red herring. Hang on, the party's a red herring.
To me.
The party's a red herring. Any social gathering indoors during that time broke the rules. Any social gathering. So what you're saying is that any social gathering doesn't matter.
Really thinking that the British people care about that.
That's called gaslighting. People don't care about that. People care about Ukraine. People care about getting Brexit done. People care more about, people crossing the channel in dinghies. They don't care about Boris Johnson breaking the rules. They don't care about his administration writing the rules, telling people to follow them, and then turning around and having a party and laughing about it. And when they're caught out, they laugh about it.
They realise that the Prime Minister got the first vaccination that saved billions of...
Boris Johnson did not get the vaccination. Isn't it convenient how they talk about, yes, we care about the NHS, but when it comes to, successes, the NHS is forgotten about. It's Boris Johnson achieved this. Boris Johnson delivered the vaccine.
Of lives across the world. He took us through...
We are all this man. I don't know who this man is, but we are all this man at this moment. Shaking our heads and going, what the hell is he talking about? He's an absolute joke. And unfortunately, people will continue to vote for him. Now, will this party sink Boris Johnson? I don't know. I truly believe Boris Johnson is made of Teflon at this moment. It seems to be that we go peaks and troughs here. At the beginning of the week, the emotion is building up and we're saying, okay, Boris Johnson is going to resign this week. He can't stay on any longer. And then we get to the end of the week and the energy has been sort of drawn out of the room, the oxygen has been sucked out of the room, and we're in a lull. And then we wait till the weekend, and then there's another scandal, and we talk about, okay, this week he's going to go. So if somebody were to ask me, would Boris Johnson quit this week? I'd probably say yes on a Monday and no on a Friday. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.